Hi, hey, and all those other greetings of adventures. I'm Jakks, welcoming you guys back to my gaming and unboxing channel, where today I am once again excited for another unboxing that you guys will probably be excited for because it is a Sonic unboxing. Before we get into that, though, I do want to mention not SGO stuff, but check that out if you haven't. But I just unboxed a new Switch, so if you guys haven't seen that video, definitely make sure to check that out. But the one thing about unboxing something that is $300 and doing any hardware unboxings is that I don't get to just be my usual childish self and just be carefree and just make all these stupid jokes and play around and just have fun. The playing around for the Switch will come way later, but I figured, you know what? I've got a lot of unboxing stuff sitting here, so I'm going to end up unboxing something that I can goof around with and just play around with and just have fun with. So as you guys know, Jakks Pacific just took over the rights to the Sonic merchandise line. Like a year ago? 2 years ago? Yeah, I'm a little late to the party on this. But as you guys know, I did do an unboxing on the Sonic, Tails, Eggman, and Knuckles plush that you guys can check out. It's a two-part thing. However, that cost me a good like $75 for that wave, and I decided that I needed to wait for the figures. Well, here comes 2020, and I have none of them until today, of course. And the ones we're unboxing are not going to be the first ones that I ordered because of fear of missing out on a good price for them. And then they restocked for an actual retail price, which is kind of annoying that they did that because that's just really mean and really dumb. But yeah, I got them off of Amazon, and yeah, long story short, Wave 2 is already out, which we might look at one of those, and they've already announced what they're doing for Wave 3, but on the plus side, we've got some cool stuff coming for Wave 3, such as a figure with a spike and a spring and invincibility, which is kind of weird, and soccer, both sports balls, which is interesting, but kind of cool, I guess. And then, of course, we have the other figures with, like, Chow and stuff. Now, one reason why I'm hugely excited and happy about the Jakks Pacific line is because they do things way differently than the other ones. Now, as you guys know, for the plush, I was kind of iffy for those, and they kind of grew on me. But for the figures, I was pretty much down from them at the start. Now, this first wave, they have these bendable figures. They have done this in the past with other companies where some of the Sonic X figures were actually these bendable figures, but Jakks Pacific is also going to release some of the like Jazzwares style where it has the actual joints and it's like an actual action figure, which is interesting because somebody's also mentioned the fact that it looks almost exactly like Jazzwares. So maybe I'll end up buying it and comparing it. There's a certain Tomy video that you guys really enjoyed where I held up a Jakks or Jazzwares and a Jakks Pacific. The names are too similar, apparently. But today we have the originals type of characters. I was originally going to do this as, you know, who characters you'll see later, and I don't know if I'll do 2 or 3 figures, but it all depends on the time. Of course, though, if you're going to be doing a Sonic Jakks Pacific video for a Sonic unboxing for a Sonic line, you have to start off with Tails. No, I'm kidding, this isn't Tails. This is everybody except Tails because it's Sonic and it's Knuckles. The cool thing about this is that they have this gimmick to where they add this spinning toy, which I'm not going to be spinning it around. I'm not going to be using it as that. But it's this little mini figure that is a Sprite, and it is the Sonic Battle Sprite. I'm not even kidding you. the exact sprite from Sonic Battle, which blows my mind. They actually referenced Sonic Battle. Oh my god! It's insane. Like, seriously, I cannot believe that they referenced that. But not only that, there's some other characters that I cannot believe they put in, like, a Sprite thing. Now, Jakks Pacific is extremely smart. Here's the reason why. They did not pair Sonic with Sonic's Battle Sprite. If you look on the back, you'll see that Sonic's Battle Sprite is combined with Shadow. So if you are somebody who only likes Sonic and you want Sonic and his Battle Sprite, you are then forced to go and find an eBay listing with only the Sonic Battle Sprite. No, but that's also probably a viable option. Then you essentially need to go out and buy Shadow. Now, of course, if you bought Shadow and you want the Shadow Battle Sprite, it's not there. But you have Sonic with Knuckles, Knuckles with Tails, Tails with Amy, and Shadow with Sonic. Why they didn't just put a Shadow Battle Sprite with Tails is beyond me, but I mean, hey, you know, it's whatever. Of course, there is another line, so if we do see that in this video, then you'll see that the battle sprites are also changed in that one, and we'll see, you know, the different lines and stuff. But anyway, though, guys, let's open this guy up, and oh, I mean, it was already open partially, but yo, you guys know I like to keep the backs of these, and I don't have any of the Jakks-specific ones, so this is a perfect cut, and the fact that it's Sonic's is a heck yeah. I can throw things, I just can't catch them. Anyway, though, guys, let's take a gander at good old Sonic. Do people still say gander? I honestly don't know. Did they just take it out of the dictionary? They probably should. Come on. There we go. Good old Sonic. Now, we'll be looking at Sonic in just a minute because... Oh, no, I broke it. No, I'm kidding. But I actually don't know how this works because I haven't opened one of these. And this is kind of like a popular thing. So do you have to, like... I don't know, because I actually don't want to break it. Because I was joking. But, guys, look, it's Knuckles' body. As Knuckles' body actually does. Oh, no, it went the other way. I'm sorry, Knuckles. How do you even do... Okay, so you put it like that. Okay. And you can, like, push it and play with it. But we actually want to display it. Can I? Oh, they actually have back. Yo, that's pretty cool. They actually have, like, the back Sprite for this. Where's the back of the box? There it is. Okay, yeah, that's actually pretty nice. So I was like, something looks like it's missing. But yeah, they added the back Sprite. And you can't really see it there, so I'll probably be posing it like this. So looking at this, as I said before, this is Knuckles' standard. Very flimsy, apparently. Alright, let's... I'm not sure which way I want to have him face, though. Come on, Knuckles. Snap onto the thing, bud. I mean, it has to come off easily because you also have to use it as that disc thing. But anyway, though, this is Knuckles' standard idle animation for Sonic Battle. Of course, he has his fighting animations, you know, his jabs, his uppercuts, and pretty cool game. And I believe he's the final... Well, he's the final boss of Sonic's story when you play as Emerald, which you always play as Emerald up until the last story, I believe. Sometimes you fight Emerald. I don't really remember. It's kind of a mixed bag, but I do remember that you fight Emerald, or I do remember that you fight Knuckles with Emerald, and it's really, really cool. It's a really tricky boss fight, because it's before you actually have any moves with Emerald if you're starting from scratch. So trying to beat him with Emerald's base moves is just insanely tricky, and it's always the biggest roadblock that I have. But looking at this as a figure, of course, we're not going to look at it as its spinning functionality because I don't really know what that does. But I think it's really, really neat that they added his back dreadlocks, because they could have very easily not put that and had his gigantic head be on there, or just had it be a rolling coin type of thing, instead of having this additional thing for those people like me who would actually want this as a legitimate figure. It's a very good selling point, and I think that's very cool. So, of course, you can tell that it is a Sprite, and I just know that it's Sonic Battles Sprite just because that was actually one of my favorite games. Probably my favorite Sonic GBA game, to be honest with you. Yes, even past the Sonic Advances. Sonic Advance 3 was pretty good, though, I gotta say. But yeah, got all the colors right. I mean, it's just a printed picture of his Sprite being on there. So, let's look at Sonic himself. Alright, this is the first figure of Sonic from Jakks Pacific, which it looks very good. If you guys remember for Tomy, I really liked their Sonic figure because their Sonic figure reminded me a ton of just Sonic Adventure with how it was stylized, how it was posed, and I thought that was pretty cool. For this Sonic, it looks very much like modern Sonic. I have a Jakks Pacific Sonic from Sonic Colors, and it looks like that style. It looks like that very early on, well, I guess I shouldn't say early, like a mid-level modern Sonic around, well, Sonic Colors. And I think that's really, really cool. Now, of course, this guy, he is posed, and while you might be like, don't bend him because I really don't want to, you can. So you've got him doing a nice general thumbs up pose, which leads to a lot of pretty cool things. So if you are somebody who has younger kids and they want to play around with it, they can, with it, you know, not being that bad because it's not specifically posed like Tomy's, which partially bothered me because it limited it to just the poses you could display it in and just the general thing. Whereas for this, it's bendable. If you wanted to, you know, you can do this with Sonic's foot. You can have him kick, and it is at no expense to the figure. Something that Jazzwares had an issue with because if you weren't careful enough, the joints were very fragile, and if you just ended up having that leg part go up a little bit, you could end up breaking it. A story that I always think of is when my sister hit my Jet the Hawk figure with a foot, with Sonic's foot, of a plush, and his leg just came clean off, and it was so sad and so ridiculous. So now I have 3 Jet the Hawk figures, believe it or not. I don't remember how I got the second one. Maybe because it was the wrong color for the hedges or something. I honestly don't know. But anyway, though, back to Sonic himself. So the figure itself looks really cool. As I said, the pose is really nice. They have they have him in a very, very good, very cool stance. And of course, the one plus about having it be a bendable figure is that you can literally turn it any which way, and it's not going to break unless you're too harsh on it. It's going to have more wear and tear ability, but of course, as a collector, I'm not going to want to do that, even though I did say I just kind of want to play around with this and just, you know, get my anxiety out a little bit. Interestingly enough, it does seem like he has a neck point, kind of like a bobblehead, but enough to where you don't notice if you look on front of it. If you look below, though, you can see that little thing. So it is a really cool thing that you're not going to notice, but if you're moving it around, you will notice, and it does feel super fragile, which makes me extremely nervous. But yeah, so the nose, when I was taking this out, I did notice the nose is very flimsy, but it works very well because, again, it's bendable, and looks really good. It is the exact correct length of Sonic's nose. This isn't a problem that I have, but a lot of people are kind of upset about that, when it's wrong. And then his smile could be ingrained a little bit more. You can hardly see it on camera, but you can see it just enough. His eyes are the perfect shade of green, also being the perfect shape, being the perfect size. You have the white of the eye being down below. Some actually have this, like some plush have it higher up, but looking at Sonic Colors poster, because I have one behind, his eye is actually, the white of his eye is lower, which I've never realized. But that's pretty cool that they paid that much attention to detail. Now, a big reason why this reminds me of Sonic Colors is not just because of the proportions and the pose. I mean, this is a general Sonic pose, but a big reason is the color scheme. Sonic in the modern age, she does have that very specific shade of blue, but because renders are changing and, getting better with HD and stuff, the shade does sometimes change a little bit, but this is the on-point colors of his skin tone. His blue, you've got the eye color, everything from head to toe is perfect. They put so many great details in. They have the buckles, they have the grooves on the shoes, they have the socks, and it looks amazing. You have the spikes, which are the right length, and you have the back spikes, which are also not that flimsy, and you have the tail all being the perfect shape, size, and length. It's like they took Sonic from the game, they just pulled his model out, and they just slapped him as a figure onto here. And that is something that... Okay. And that is just a really hard and really amazing thing to do. So great job on Sonic, and thank you so much for making that those Sonic battle sprites. Alright guys, so next up we are going to look at Tails, Sonic's best buddy for ages. Since Sonic 2, since the second game, we are going to open him up and we're going to see if his younger sidekick has just as good a box opening. But Sonic's was ready to be opened. Just like Sonic, very adventurous, doesn't care if it's dangerous. But Tails, he's an inventor. His box is going to be very, very sleek, and we might not be able to open this. Come on, Tails. I want to keep the back of your box, dude. He's super glued his box. I guess, yeah, he is way more cautious than Sonic ever was, but Sonic Forces proved that's not always a good thing. Sonic Adventure Tails is best Tails, just saying. So there. Nice look at the back of the box as well. And honestly, I always liked Tails in the classic games, as I've said multiple times. But his personality-wise, he was always the best in Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2. Because in Forces, they made him scared again. In Adventure, he was so scared of everything. But he overcame that fear, and he fought. He did everything in his power to go against Eggman, to go against Chaos in both Sonic 1 and 2, and then he's afraid of Chaos Zero to the point he's quaking in Sonic Forces? I always hated that. Come on, Tails. Come on, there we go. Oh no, he's got the stupid... Why do you have that? That's really weird. But yeah, if you guys haven't seen Sonic Forces, or you have, and you want to see a playthrough of it, I do have that on the channel as well. Something I do want to mention before we get into the Amy one and then go to Tails, is the fact that they actually have this wrapped with one of those band things. You guys can't see it, but it was on his ear, which was really weird. Also, we're not going to be looking at the other figure just because... probably not, just because I don't know time-wise if we have the time to do it, because I'm going to have to cut out some stuff, and anytime I think that I'm like, oh, I need to cut some stuff out, it always ends up being to where it kind of gets screwed up a little bit. So, well, because I just don't know what the time is, and it's probably only like a minute or two, and I'm going to be thinking that it's, it's like 5 minutes or more. So we probably just don't have the time. Alrighty, guys, so let's take a nice, good look at Amy. Weirdly enough, in Jakks Pacific so far, we haven't gotten any other merchandise of Modern Amy. It's very surprising to me that they haven't made an actual straight-up figure. Yes, even in Wave 2, but they've made this battle sprite, which is very, very interesting. Looking at the box of Wave 2, I'm not going to show you guys it, but I will say they do have a Shadow Battle Sprite. They have a Battle Sprite that's really cool that I'm really excited for a different unboxing. But that one, it's an obscure one that I find very cool that they did. But looking at the Amy Battle Sprite, of course, same as before, it is the general Battle Sprite pose. And the cool thing for this type of thing, which Amy's animation was kind of like a hand swish. She kind of does it in her walking running animation in Sonic Adventure, where she does that swish thing. Her moveset consists of things like the Pico Pico hammer and some really cool stuff. I'm realizing there's a lot of cool things that they can do with this Battle Sprite thing if they continue it. They do have the sport ball thing and the other thing, so I have a feeling that they're not going to. But we could potentially get a Battle Sprite of, well, Emerald, of course, which I know that's not going to happen, but I'm very much hoping so. Chaos, very big possibility. We have gotten a plush of him, and another more obscure character did get a Battle Sprite, so it's very possible. And we just have a lot of characters from that. Those are just the more obscure ones. So, of course, as said before, Amy's Battle Sprite, it's the copy-paste type thing. So it looks really well. All the colors are going to be correct. And they did not add an extra little thing for her front hair part, which I actually thought that they would have. But they fit it just enough into there to where they don't need to do that. And it's a nice, very clean, very standard type thing. And the pink on the border looks really, really good and really, really fitting for Amy. So I really like that. And of course, you don't have any more of the back spikes, probably because those parts are way too small to put on there. So it doesn't obscure any of the stand with the figure, whereas Knuckles does. Not having it looks weird. Having it looks kind of weird depending on the angle. So having it with Amy, it looks really, really cool. And hopefully they end up doing a regular figure of Amy in the future. Honestly, though, I love the fact that they did those battle sprites, and I cannot wait to put them in my collection. I might even put them together, because seeing them by each other looks really cool, and it kind of looks like game board pieces. But anyway, though, guys, let's look at Tails. Now, I'm not sure if it's the way he was put in the box, or if this is his actual pose, but immediately his head is tilted very, very far back, which seems very strange, but at the same time, if you think about it, you could say it's like he's about to lift off to fly. His tails, of course, don't look like they're about to lift off to fly, but let's start off with the tails because it's his namesake and because I'm now talking about them. So, of course, you have your standard tails. Tails, you can move them up and down. It's interesting to see how plush and figure designers end up doing the tails, because some of them have it more up like this, some of them have it more droopy, some of them have it more loose, some of them have it lower to be where it can actually help Tails stand more and you don't have to worry about stability. Whereas this one, does it stand? This is going to be a hard one to stand because of the tails. This one, though, the weight is upwards. Look-wise, it looks better, but weight-wise, it might be harder to do because Tails is definitely going to fall back because this is a lot of weight, guys. This is not a hollow piece. This is this is full the whole amount, which is bigger than Tails' head. It's bigger than Tails' feet. It's the biggest part of Tails and the figure, and because it's not at least a little bit hollow, it adds more weight to it, which makes it very weird to hold as well because the weight is tipping this way when my hand is going the opposite way, so it just feels very weird. I will say though, the Tails, they look very nice, and Tails is always a very hard character to make in merchandise, but I'm very glad that they made him because not all people do. GE. Sorry, I had a cough there, which is unfortunate because I really like GE. Sorry, I had another cough there. But anyways though, let's go on to other parts of the figure. Alrighty, let's go on from the tails to the head, just like the side of a coin, or a battle coin, if you would prefer. So, the head itself is very good. Just like for Sonic, you have everything proportioned correctly. The length of the hair, the ears, the eye shape, and the eye color. Generally, for something like Tails, the shape is varied for different merchandise. Sometimes it's just not as, it's just not shaped as right, but they did it correct, and the white of the eye looking at other merchandise is actually at the upper part, probably because he's more cheerful, he's more hopeful, he's bright, so his little reflector is upwards, and it also just makes him look a lot more innocent, whereas for Sonic, it makes him look a lot more adventurous. I know it's a lot to think about when I'm talking about, the little reflection in their eye, but I don't know, something I've never thought about, but pretty cool. And then, of course, you have the muzzle, which has his mouth in the center as always. You have his little tiny nose, which is too small to be flexible, which is good, because if it did move, I'd be kind of concerned. And then you have his little tufts of hair, which are actually, interestingly enough, this one's perfect, but because of how the arm is, this one is a little bit more off to the side and bumped on there, so that's the only thing that looks a little flawed. It does look like when you move this, the arm is fairly stiff, and even though it's a bendable figure, it's fairly stiff, which is kind of interesting and kind of weird, so maybe that's why they're doing the posables, just for, people that do want to move them around more, because it does, as I said, feel very stiff. Now, the thing is, though, Sonic, he's had a lot of good figure merchandise because it's Sonic, Sometimes there's just stuff of just Sonic for figures. But for Tails, there are certain misses, like Tommy's. It still haunts me to this day. Now, again, like I said in our Tommy 3-pack video, the thing is, Tails might be short, but he's not that short. In this, just like Sonic, it's like they pulled the render directly out of the game. This one has a few more hiccups, but it's more nitpicky than anything else. But you don't have his armpits being his freaking waist. So, this is what you should have done, Tommy. This is the size. This is the proportion. I don't understand where you went wrong. Sorry, I'm still passionately upset about how awful Tommy's Tails looked. Very different from how his Sonic looked, in my opinions on that. But, going into further stuff, Tails, his body shape is kind of interesting. Sonic, he's got that regular oval shape, not too much to it, but Tails, I don't know if you guys have ever noticed, but he starts out kind of slim, but then going downwards, he has this little tiny pudge. And I think it's to kind of counterbalance, the look of the Tails and also his height, which I think it's very cool that they have this and that they actually noticed this and they did the right shape. You have the right length for the arms, for the legs. You actually do have the little gray ring on his glove as well. So very top notch, very good for that. And then, of course, you have his shoes being half red, half white. You have the grooves on his shoes, which is also very awesome, very perfect. And then, of course, you have, there is a little bit of paint on the sock, which is probably going to bother me, but it's in the back. Again, it's very nitpicky, just like for saying for the little tufts on the chest. There is a bit of paint missing, but they didn't get it on any of the yellow, so it's fine. But yeah, all the details here, they may have actually grabbed a render of Sonic or Tails and 3D printed these. Maybe that's how they do it. I don't know. But these look very, very good. And I'm very happy to have both of these guys in my collection because they look really cool. They look great. Honestly, since Jakks Pacific, like since Jazzwares, which I was a big fan of Jazzwares, and that's what I started with. In their later game for the Sonic collectibles, the quality got very, very poor. And it was very unfortunate and very sad. And then Tomy stepped in, and Tomy's, some of them were great, some of them were not, even in the plush. But Jakks Pacific, you can tell there is a passion, there's a care, and they are very smart. There's a reason why they have a Mario series marketing for as long as they do, and their line is still going from Mario to the point where they're able to do things like dry piranha plant, for instance. So I'm kind of hoping that they keep with Sonic for a while because I would love to see more obscure characters, which they're already doing, which is such a big plus that they're doing that. And it's smart. It's very, very smart, and it's very, very cool. And then, of course, you do have the battle sprites, which look really awesome. Amy's for this is definitely my favorite. I think Amy looks a little bit better, but I think a part of that is for this, but also I like the shade of pink better, and the pose is just, better for a standard idle animation for that. But anyway, though, guys, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit that like button, share this out with everyone known love, brother, mother, sister, father, iguana, and I realized I didn't really play around that much. I was a little more serious in this video, but hey, you know what? Sometimes that happens. I'm just glad that we have them, and I think I just got caught up in the fact that they're really good in quality, and I'm just really happy that I have them. They're just really cool. But anyway, though, guys, let me know what you think of them in the comment section below. Hopefully you liked the video, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. Alright, guys. Keep your toes safe. Bye, guys.